So we thought we would do a little PSA for any dog owners out there that may not know about grapes being toxic to dogs. Something I just learned quite a bit about in the last few days.
Hi, Rue.
We've had a bit of a rough morning. New viewers, welcome, and if you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe and the like button. And if you'd like, give us a comment. That helps our channel grow. And if you haven't read my description on the channel or seen any of the earlier videos, the main reason we had started this channel was to hopefully get monetized to help a little bit with the costs of Motley Rue's medical bills and her prescription.
Motley Rue, where are you? It's time to hit the road now, Motley Rue, so much to do. Let's see where this day will go now. Rolling on down the highway, dog ears in the wind. Let's find another sweet surprise. Motley Rue, where are you? We're chasing every scenic view. Motley Rue, just me and you. Cruising in the van like we always do.
You generally hear of the typical things like onions and things like that being toxic, but never really thought about grapes. But had a little incident the other morning when my husband was making his lunch and accidentally dropped some grapes on the floor. And both Motley Rue and Courage both went after him like, kids on candy at a parade or something. And we were trying to pick them up, but in the process, I think they both had eaten a few of them. And so I got online, of course, and started looking up, are grapes bad for dogs? Kind of recalled some, probably advertisement or something I had seen that said something about grapes. Dogs can't eat grapes. And I started reading about it and found out that it can cause kidney failure in dogs, and a lot of kind of unknown reasons. They believe it's the tartaric acid in the grapes, and there's all kind of information out there online of doesn't matter whether it's green grapes. These happen to be red grapes. Watched a few videos of veterinarians talking about it, that like green grapes were worse than purple grapes and stuff like that. Anyway, I've just been monitoring both of them. This happened, a little over 48 hours ago, so I've been kind of monitoring them, and I started adding water to their dry kibble to try to flush out anything, if by chance they ate enough that might make them sick. I thought, giving them more water might start flushing it out. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you also know that Motley Rue has osteoarthritis in her hips. And actually, a year or so ago, she was actually kind of lame, where she couldn't walk and was in a lot of pain and all. So we've had her on Galliprant. She's also been on gabapentin, but they don't recommend that you keep dogs on that for more than a couple weeks because it does affect their kidneys and liver. Well, Galliprant is kind of an NSAID for dogs, and it doesn't have as bad as side effects as the gabapentin. But I still have to take her in every year and have blood panels done so they can check her liver and kidney levels. But anyway, over the last couple days after eating these grapes, she was just panting very heavily. I had withheld her Galliprant the last 2 nights, thinking, probably wasn't good to add that to it if there was some toxicity and poisoning or something in these grapes that might cause kidney damage. So I had withheld that from her. But last night she started getting kind of almost like agitated, where she wouldn't lay down. She was just, every time she'd get up and just walk across the room, she was panting very heavily, kind of whiny, more whiny than usual. Sometimes she does get whiny in the evening, which kind of lets us know that she's, feeling a little pain from the arthritis and all. But she had me up half the night trying to figure out what was going on, and I'm trying to look at their stool to see, because the signs of the grape toxicity is vomiting, diarrhea, could be like excessive thirst at first, and then not having any intake at all. All right, we're back home. But anyway, she didn't have any vomiting, and she did have what we thought, because they have access to their backyard where they do their business. So it's hard sometimes to tell which one, is having what kind of stool, but there was some soft stool out there. But given her behavior last night, it really started concerning me that she may have been having, was she having kidney failure or some kidney damage or something, because she was obviously stressed. She was, just continued to panting real hard, almost at times like she was having a hard time getting her breath, almost. Doing a lot of kind of like low grumbling sort of things, and just not settling down. Even, when I went to bed, got her and hopped up in the bed with me, and she like laid there for like 2 minutes, and like she just couldn't relax. She couldn't lay down, like she couldn't get comfortable. So I gave her a... Really? I gave her a Galliprant last night, thinking, well, maybe it's, her hips. She was also walking around kind of like with her tail sort of tucked, which is generally a sign that, a dog is stressed or in pain or something. She kept kind of sniffing her butt a lot and all too, so something was going on. So she was kind of going in and out a lot, and I was trying to, in the dark, and it was raining last night, trying to follow her outside to see if she was having diarrhea or anything. And I guess at some point she must have finally settled down last night and got up this morning, and she was sleeping. Was pretty still and calm, but as soon as she got up out of bed, she started the heavy panting thing again, which is not like her. It's not hot, it's what, in the 60s, 60s, low 70s here. So it's not like, she was running around or anything that should have caused excessive panting. So, figured two things. She was either in pain or it was stress. And so thought, well, we better take her in. So we just came back from the vet's office, and they ran a blood panel. And everything came back good with her liver and kidneys. I got her blood panel that I had read that the creatine was one thing that would be elevated if they were in kidney failure or anything like that. And he did say that her red blood count was a little high. It did show up a little high, but he said that everything looked good with her blood work. while we were there waiting for the blood work results, I took her out and she did have a very soft stool. Kind of was diarrhea on the end, so they did take the stool sample. They're sending that off to check for any bacteria or anything like that in her stool. Um, not really sure what's causing that, but that probably, could be part of the heavy panting. As if she just had an upset stomach. I don't know if adding the extra water to their dry food could have thrown her stomach off. If it was, maybe just digesting the grapes. What it might have been. But we're having that checked out, so they'll let me know the results on it. But anyway, I think it was more of a peace of mind for me because not knowing why she was acting the way she was, and kind of having that scare of she did eat a couple grapes, and you know, knowing that everything's good in that area, that she is not. All her numbers look good for her kidneys and liver, so good to know. Now we need to put her on a bland diet. They recommended just boiled chicken and rice with some sweet potatoes or pumpkin added in. So I think we'll do that for a few days. See if that helps get her gastrointestinal issues corrected. And I'm going to get her back on her regular schedule for Galliprant and see if it's just a thing that she's, this time of year, and it's kind of when she gets worse, just like people, I think, with arthritis and the cooler weather and the moisture, because we've had quite a bit of rain the last few days, that I imagine it affects dogs the same in their joints. So it could just be the matter that her arthritis was acting up more, and she needs to be back on her Galliprant to kind of help her with that. So that is the update on Motley Rue. Thank you for tuning in and for following along. When I get the results from her stool sample, I will update you on that. And the main reason we had started this channel was to hopefully get monetized to help a little bit with the costs of Motley Rue's medical bills and her prescription, since she's on a daily prescription. Runs about $100 a month. This vet visit, even though it was just blood work and sending off a stool sample, they wanted to do had suggested a urinalysis, but I said let's do the blood work first and see if that's necessary. So we opted out of the urinalysis. But yeah, that set us back a little over $400 just for the blood work, the office visit, and the stool sample. So I'm going to have to go do a lot more Uber Eats deliveries. And if you follow along, I will start posting some of our Uber Eats adventures we do. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.